convention is something that is a typical or familiar form or technique used to convey a certain impression on an audience within a media product. For example, both of the films I'll be comparing are short film dramas, a convention of which is the close-up to capture the expression of the actors and convey their emotions to the audience. For this question, we'll be comparing our short film Adam to a similar short film called The Irrational Fear of Nothing, with a few other examples chucked in there as well, to see how our film uses, develops and challenges conventions of the short film drama genre.
First of all, we use the convention of a short film drama by filming in the third person. This is a convention as it tracks a singular character from the outside and is in many short film dramas. In The Irrational Fear of Nothing, they use a snorri cam to follow the main character's every move and provide a sturdy tracking shot. We used the snorri cam slightly differently, but we'll touch on this a bit later. As for filming in the third person, we used a fig rig to maintain a steady shot as I was therefore able to follow the main character from behind. This provided an effective tracking shot and gave me the freedom to maneuver around the actor. It also meant that I could correct mid-shot in case something went wrong, as I had complete control of the camera. In The Irrational Fear of Nothing, the third-person shot is the only shot which they have used, which we both agreed is where the film fell short. Pardon the pun. For example, we developed the convention of using the snorri cam by attaching the tripod to the actor's front. This meant that we could easily film a close-up while the actor was in motion, instead of attempting to track his movement. This in turn was using the convention of a close-up to show expressions on the actor's face and to convey the audience his emotions, but in a non-conventional way by introducing the snorri cam angle. This provided to be very effective as it gave us a wider variety of shots, but more importantly helped us capture Adam's social anxiety through facial expressions and his reactions to his own thoughts. Challenging how The Irrational Fear of Nothing was filmed, for the cafe scene, the crying scene and the getting dressed scene, we used a tripod to give a good sturdy shot, which was something that The Irrational Fear of Nothing did not do. This is because we felt that it was too frantic in The Irrational Fear of Nothing, and irrational with its movements at times. To counteract the ever-moving shots, we felt a still tripod shot was appropriate to slow down the pace of the film and prevent viewers from getting lost in how hectic it may feel. However, looking at the whole short film drama genre, these shots are the conventions, as most short film dramas are recorded in a mix of mid-shots and also close-ups, with a very generic mix of shots, which is why we took such inspiration from The Irrational Fear of Nothing by using the third-person shot.
As for editing, we also used the convention of the jump cut to compress time within our short film, most specifically from the dressing scene to the cafe on the third day. This is a common convention within all short films. Travelling to the next destination is cut out for one of two reasons. A, due to the reduced amount of overall time for the film, and B, the actual shot lacks action and would be boring if on screen for too long. So looking at the obvious conventions of a short film drama, most are under 5 minutes. This is why we use jump cuts, as it is vital to retain audience attention for as long as possible. Both Irrational Fear of Nothing and our film do this effectively by providing a snippet of the travel which acts as a transitioning shot from one destination to the other. For example, the walking on the street transitioning into just outside the cafe in our film Adam. We also use colour correction, a process done in all films. This is done to create a more appetising shot to look at, or to correct oversaturated colours within a shot. So The Irrational Fear of Nothing does this often, and it really enhances the shot, making it look more professional. We adjusted the contrast and brightness levels, the colour graph, and the colours themselves as part of the editing process. To challenge conventions of anxiety short films, I included a section that included an anxiety attack, which was a high intensity piece or collection of shots. Other short films I've watched as part of my research were very mellow and depressing, such as Glass People, SAD, and The Irrational Fear of Nothing. We wanted to show a different side of social anxiety. To convey the panic attack, we used bump maps to change the texture of the fossil and black flashes. This was designed to increase the pace of the film, challenging the convention of a slow-paced and depressing short film about anxiety through the use of editing techniques.
Sound was crucial to our whole film. We used the convention of the interior monologue, which is used in many short film dramas such as The Arrival and The Irrational Fear of Nothing. This is a convention as it allows the story to be told from a first-person point of view and doesn't require a huge amount of dialogue. This is why we used the convention, and it proved to be very effective in our film, as it allowed for a professional actor to show his emotions through his expressions. It also helped convey an internal struggle for our character, which I will explain in more detail when it comes to narrative. As for our soundtrack, we took inspiration from the dramatic rendition found in The Irrational Fear of Nothing. This is also a convention of dramas to have a piano soundtrack that very much matched the genre. Originally, we were going to have it throughout the whole entire film. However, we decided against this as we felt it would be most effective at introducing and concluding the film.
Plays it at home or only on the subway to kill time. She just saw me. Pretend you're looking at something else. Pretend you're looking at something else. Pretend you're looking at something else. Why is that man staring at me? Did I shave wrong? Maybe he knows I'm wearing.
Okay. Have you spoken to any of your family or?
No.
No? And so you've only come to teachers?
We developed this convention specifically in the bedroom crying scene, heightening the emotion in certain scenes instead of having it run all the way through.
Mise-en-scène aspects were important to our film, and we challenged conventions of the genre of anxiety short films about young teenagers by ensuring our film was not set in a school. Instead, we opted to base our film around the concept of school life, but without filming in a school, as it would be too generic to social anxiety films and possibly cliché. Our main locations were home and the cafe, which challenges conventions of location in our films of the same genre. This meant our short film was avoiding any possible clichés, and the locations proved to be effective for telling our narrative.
Our narrative was imperative to our film and is the driving force behind most drama short films. The narrative of our film is based solely around one character, Adam. This is the case for two other dramas, The Irrational Fear of Nothing and also The Rival, as I mentioned before. These two films focus on one character and their struggle or problem. This is a convention we use of short film dramas, as we didn't want it to have a complicated narrative and preferred to focus on just a single character. Our narrative is about social anxiety, which is a serious and sensitive issue. This is a convention of short film dramas, and The Irrational Fear of Nothing was about schizophrenia and anxiety, while The Arrival was about an abortion. This convention was something we wanted to use, as these type of issues allow for creativity and emotion, which will make our short film much better.
My first piece of evidence that shows an effective combination of my short film and magazine review is how they both have been shot in the same location. When we were filming the scene where Adam walks to school, we also took a photo shoot with an aim to use these pictures in the ancillary text. This aim was successfully carried out on my magazine review and short film with a clear link between them, and thus creating an effective theme between the two. This is important because it addresses my target audience, as it's an abstract idea of the fossil which potentially appeals to filmmakers. This theme attraction to filmmakers addresses my target audience as well. As part of the post-production process, I made a production logo for our company called G&O Productions, standing for Greg and Owen. I then used this production logo on the poster and the start of the short film, both of which follow conventions of the products and create a link between the two products. The theme of our production is something that creates an effective combination between the film and ancillary text. For example, one of our themes is Adam's safe item, the fossil, and this has been used in not only the short film but also the poster. This was an aspect of the film that we wanted to use across other ancillary texts due to close connections with anxiety in the film. Another theme of ours is the handwritten font, which represents Adam's writing, and this has been used in the poster and as well as the start of the short film, and therefore creates a link between the two. I decided not to use it in the magazine review, as it does not meet the conventions of the magazine that I based it around, which was Empire. Finally, I've used the same quote in the magazine review and the poster. This made up quote about the short film by The Guardian. However, the fact that the same quote is in both the ancillary and the short film represents a clear combination between the two products.
To uphold Sight and Sound's image, I opted to not use the fossil in my magazine review. This was to create an ancillary text which was independent from the film and poster, as I felt a more professional, independent ancillary text was more appropriate here. This addresses my target audience of filmmakers and critics, who are also a large proportion of the sight and sound audience. By using this style, my magazine review and film address the same target audience. A convention of sight and sound is that it has its own style, which does not interact with the themes of the film. For example, when reviewing Tron, they did not use the Tron colours like Empire did, but stuck to their own black and white print style. However, the fossil was prevalent in my poster, as I used it in the overlay at the bottom of the screen and to fill any potential blank space, but it was more important in providing a recurring theme across all of my media texts. This helps us create a brand, as people would see the fossil and wonder what it has to do with our film, as it is quite a peculiar item. My ancillary texts were also designed to hit a specific target audience, as my poster and magazine review uses a black and white theme, which creates a sense of professionalism, and is often used to convey the drama genre, and within that, a serious subject matter. Our target audience is filmmakers and critics, so having an aura of professionalism and seriousness around our poster and magazine review was crucial to directing your target audience to watch our film. We avoided anything that seemed gimmicky, so we did not use coloured text, over-edited pictures, and kept to a black and white theme. I used the same posed portrait-style photograph in both ancillary texts, which creates a connection between the two. This also follows conventions of drama short films, as they often focus on one main character.
Firstly, we've learnt the correct way of portraying social anxiety due to a feedback from a girl who suffered from it herself in the past. She told us about the safe item and the ways in which people suffer with anxiety. This led to us adding the safe item to the production, and this then became a theme throughout all of our media product, as mentioned in the previous question. The heartbeat sound effect was also added in light of this conversation with the girl. This added good tension and also made the product more realistic.
In the first draft of the script, we didn't have a resolution, which gave the film an open-ended feel to it. In feedback, Vanessa encouraged us to use a counselling scene in the short film to act as a resolution/conclusion to the film, and this was something that we received during the pitch of our film. We wrote a draft of the script without this scene in, and from this we then compare what it looked like with or without the counsellor scene. As it turned out, the scene acted as a good resolution to the film, and it brought closure to the plot. We received feedback on an early draft of the film which featured quick zooms to the dressing scene, similar to that of Shaun of the Dead. Amy and Harriet in our class advised that this editing technique didn't match our genre as it seemed gimmicky, fitting more to a comedy genre. As well as this, Vanessa advised that the duration of the shots were too short, meaning we didn't get to know the character or the setting. As we were aiming for a drama short film genre, this would not match, so we took this part out, making the shots longer so that we got more of a feel for the location and Adam as a character.
Throughout the process, we both received blog feedback every month, which helped us stay on track and on time. The first real amendment she recommended was that we forge a production schedule to make us meet deadlines, and this actually proved to be very effective. For example, we set the internal deadline of finishing our short film by the 15th of December, and this is something we achieved. Without a production schedule, we may have took longer to finish this part of our coursework.
The pitch of our short film was a huge part for our audience feedback and resulted in a lot of changes to our film. First of all, we received feedback on our tagline, which at the time was "Can you hear them too?" People said that this made it sound too much like a horror film. They also said that it broke the fourth wall, as it appeared the tagline is questioning the audience directly. It was advised that this was also unfitting with our genre, so we changed it to "Is it just me?" This portrays the idea that Adam is not only questioning his sanity, but also, is he the only person suffering with anxiety?
In the pitch, we were also told to be sure to pay close detail to sound, as it would be crucial to amplify the sense of anxiety in our film. This meant that in the production of our film, we paid equal attention to visual and sound. After we planned the short film, almost at the stage that we were ready to film, we discovered that our short film shared multiple conventions of the film A Rational Fear of Nothing. We therefore decided to show our media group the film and ask them for feedback on things that did or didn't work within that film. The feedback we received from this procedure was firstly that the piano music worked really well in portraying the narrative, however it was good not to have it throughout the whole entire film. We therefore acted upon this feedback and decided to just use our piano music at the beginning and at the end of the film. Secondly, people really enjoyed the internal monologue part of The Irrational Fear of Nothing and thought that it was good in telling the narrative and also portraying social anxiety. We therefore decided to have it throughout the whole of our short film as well.
So following the screening, we actually put out a questionnaire just asking for opinions on our short film, Adam, and this was actually a really crucial part of our feedback and probably the most important feedback we received throughout the whole process. So there were two really important points we gathered from that. We were really worried that the film would seem repetitive, given that it's over 3 days and it repeats itself often with shots and setting. So we asked our audience what they thought of that, putting in and disagree or agree box next to was the film repetitive. People agreed that it was repetitive, but they understood that
During the planning and research phase, we used the internet to do most of our research. Finding short films to dissect and analyse, it was easy on the short film website, shortoftheweek.com. This featured the best quality short films on the internet. It was definitely a good method, as looking into high quality short films meant that we set the bar high for our own product, aiming to make it as professional as possible, and this therefore made it easier for us to make our creative outcomes based on these short films. For example, The Irrational Fear of Nothing featured high quality camera work, which helped us creatively tell the narrative which we took inspiration from. Towards the end of the process, we did start to run out of films to analyse, as we narrowed down our research to just social anxiety films. A lot of these were amateur films, which is why we end up making such close inspiration from The Irrational Fear of Nothing, as that was the closest professional film we could take. Maybe next time we could have used some short films from another website, to try and broaden our research into short films.
To communicate within our production group, we used Facebook and FaceTime. These were both apps that we had used before, so there was no real learning curve when it came to using the two. Facebook was primarily used as a quick form of communication to let each other know about production group meetings and quickly confer ideas, as well as sharing low quality photographs to briefly discuss. It was also used to send links to short films or pictures of classwork or coursework that we had done. It was a good and reliable method, as we are both active on the app, meaning we can speak at any time and share our creative ideas, which led to a more focused direction for our short film. FaceTime was used for quick production meetings to confer ideas about our short film and have a brainstorm. These production meetings were imperative in leading to our creative outcomes and often helped our decision making. This was the most effective in the early stages of the process, where we were trying to decide on what short film to make, the genre, the topic, and the narrative we wanted to tell.
The production of our film used the most digital technologies of all. First of all, we recorded our short film on a Canon 700D, which meant that I could easily import all the video files onto the computer. Obviously, this is not possible with a traditional film camera. This use of camera equipment also meant that we could achieve a high production quality for our short films compared to the short films that we previously researched. This was the best method of filming, and I had previous experience using the technology, and it was easily the most convenient and efficient way of producing our short film. Once we had imported the files onto the computer, another digital technology where the process would have been impossible without, I could use the editing software Sony Vegas, and a software that I've become familiar with over the summer after practicing in preparation for A2. Ultimately, this was a good idea, as it made the process more efficient and meant that we could be more creative with our editing methods. This was showed by the panic attack in our film, and we were able to edit in flashbacks using bump maps. Without the knowledge of the software, I would have not been able to do this. This scene of editing is proof of how using software that I was familiar with and had positively affected my creative outcome, making the film interesting and exciting. Sony Vegas was the best method to edit our film, as it allows more room for creativity compared to Premiere Pro.
In the evaluation stages, our use of media technologies continued, as we used devices such as the iPhone SE to record voices. We felt that although this was unsuitable for recording audio in the filming stages, it was more than capable of recording to the quality we needed for the evaluation. WordPress was used as a platform to display and evaluate our work throughout the project, and was a useful part in reflecting on our own work. To edit our evaluation as well as our short film, we used the program Sony Vegas. This proves to be a useful aid to our work, and it was quick and easy to use. Again, there wasn't much of a learning curve with the software as I'd already used it before to create the short film. All these methods are really effective in our evaluation.